It was my first time ever casting, and my mom's like, okay, you know, my sister Katie was there, and she's like, Katie, well, go stand off, so, you know, Casey's gonna try cast, and she didn't want, you know, me to injure my sister. So the very first cast, and my mother's standing behind me, she's like, okay, just go like this, and, you know, shows you how to cast or whatever. So I let it go, and the line just kept going off the rod, and it went around my mother, who was standing behind me. It flew back, and it literally hooked my sister right up the nose. I'm not kidding you, with a worm. It was live bait. We were fishing with live bait. It had a worm on her nose. You know, I remember sitting there, like, as a kid, like as a 6-year-old kid, just sitting there thinking, like, man, I hope my sister doesn't die because I hooked her up the nose with a worm, you know? And I just felt horrible, and we actually had to go to the emergency room to get the hook removed. I thought she'd be crying. I remember her, like, you know, her in my mother's arms, and we were sitting there in the emergency room, and, hey, Casey, look at the worm. It's looking at me, because the worm was alive, and it was like squiggling around. And she's like, look at Casey, the worm's looking at me. It was crazy. I couldn't do it again. I mean, I couldn't do it now if I tried. That was the first experience I remember fishing. You know, we didn't catch anything that day, I know that.
Tournament favorites for sure. That's Oklahoma's Jason Christie. He has dug himself a big hole, a sub-hard day 2.
Jason's got a big hole.
Well, crazy psycho feeling then.
Got the crazy psycho feeling. Watch out.
This is when he catches the giant, right?
Yeah.
It's been a good experience staying here. You know, Jonathan, you know, he's about my age, and then his brother, he's a little bit younger, and it's kind of like, I don't want to call it like a frat house here, but it's pretty close. You know, it's like 3, you know, younger guys staying in a house. And
He's kind of quiet. He goes to bed about 8:30, and, you know, he turns on his fan in there, and I don't hear a peep until they get out of here early in the morning. But,
you know, what better guy to travel with than the recent dominator of co-angler FLW tour. So everybody tells me all the time I should have it made out here as a co-angler traveling with Casey, but, you know, so far I only got 18th in the first one. So, I mean, he's going to have to step it up on the info or something.
Jonathan's brother has been a pretty good host. You know, it's like I said, it's not the Hilton. You know, got an air mattress here and my daily regimen. But by the time you get off the water, you're so tired. I wouldn't even need the air mattress. I could just sleep on the floor with a pillow and a cover. You know, that's about all I need. And obviously, it's pretty cost effective staying here too. So that, you know, that helps out. And just in case, you know, I don't get a check in this one, you want to try and keep your expenses down as much as you can.
Smith Lake is the second stop of the year on the FLW Tour. At only 20,000 acres, it's the smallest venue we go to of the year, but it fishes much bigger than that. You have several different creek arms, and finding your own water is not difficult. However, most of the lake is very, very deep and very, very clear. It's almost impossible to find water deeper than 5 feet at Okeechobee, whereas if you're 3 feet off the bank at Smith, you're sitting in 35 or 40 feet of water. So Smith Lake is the polar opposite, a true 180 from Lake Okeechobee. We went from a dark, dingy, shallow lake to a clear, deep lake.
Don't ever catch a fish out back of my boat again, Spiro.
We hit it off like right from day one because we had a lot of similarities. Like he played hockey, I played hockey. Kind of interesting to me because he's a Canadian living down here in Alabama. I think it's to him, he kind of has a connection with me because, you know, I still live in Canada. I can kind of tell him what the Leafs are doing or the hockey teams and, you know, how the chicken wing, you know, found this new chicken wing place. Oh, dude, you got to see it.
That's a big pot of fish, dude. Look. And then that's bait down there. That's bait. But see how it's like goes up and then it's like squares? I mean, unless that's fish chasing. But I mean, if they were chasing fish, you should be able to whack them on an Alabama rig, you'd think. I always smell my jig. I don't know why. Oh. My wife does that with food. So when I first met her, I was like, what are you doing? She's like, smelling my food. I go, it's a piece of bread. She's like, well, I have to make sure it's not bad. I says, you know by smelling it? She's like, yeah. Okay.
See, you're with somebody who, you know, you talk, you get through it, you know, and you just keep fishing. It keeps you focused. Sometimes when you're practicing with somebody who's, you know, perhaps, you know, not so talkative, like me, I could talk forever. You just stay more focused. I just feel more comfortable.
I think on the co-angler side, if you catch 5 fish, one day you will win this tournament. Like if you get a limit, one day you'll probably win.
You know, one guy will get a guy that's out deep all 3 days. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
He'll draw a guy that's out deep.
I guess because there's enough guys around.
You know, he might get Ayler and then Meyer back-to-back days. Yeah. And he'll probably catch 5 behind. You know, because he'll be around so many. He draws me, he'll be lucky to get 1 or 2.
What are you doing catching a fish in the back of my boat?
I feel sorry for my car. I already know I'm going to get in trouble with Bill Taylor. I broke the trolling motor mount on the cut boat the last day at Okeechobee. I'm hanging out with Spiro, so I'm going to be in big trouble with Bill when I get back into the weighing line.
Now, Casey, you can't be hanging out with that Canadian guy. He's going to get you in trouble. Not really. I don't really appreciate you talking about me behind my back, Spiro. You know, I'm a professional. This is a professional business, and we have to use conduct. Beholding of professional people here.
Casey, you're not allowed to practice with Spiro anymore.
Yeah, guaranteed.
So this one, the top 50 is guaranteed at least 10,000, and then I guess 50th through I think 76 or 79 is 4,000, which you pretty much just get your entry fee back, and then anything beyond 79th you get nothing. So you know, you show up, put your entry in, pay your expenses and stuff, and if you don't make that top 79 in this one, you're going home with nothing. And that's why, you know, I fish hard out there and practice and stay out as long as I can and work as hard as I can, because the difference between going home with 10,000 and going home with 0, it's not I mean, it's a pretty fine line. So in this sport, it's hard to make top 10s. Like guys go, you know, a couple years without making a top 10, you know, and I was lucky to get a top 10 down at Okeechobee. But in this one, you know, success would be a $10,000 check, and, you know, somewhat success would be at least getting the $4,000 check. You know, beyond that, it'd be kind of disappointing, and that's a possibility in this one, to be disappointed. It can happen. It can happen in this one for sure.
It'll be an earlier drop shot deal.
Yeah, no, I think Ayler, Cody Meyer. If I was picking for the fantasy team, I'd have Brent Ayler, Cody Meyer, Brett Hite, probably Troy Morrow.
All the California guys.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a real big one. Be a bass. Holy, stay on, fish, stay on. Yeah! Whoa! Yeah!
Smith Lake is completely in Brent Ayler's wheelhouse.
That's the one I needed right there.
A lot of the spotted bass out west, where Brent is from, were actually stocked with the Smith Lake strain. So when the western guys like Ayler and Cody Meyer talk about fishing for their fish,
Ha! How you like that one?
literally it's the same strand of spotted bass back home that they fish at Smith Lake. So it's no surprise to see Ayler dominate with drop shots, finesse worms, wacky rig Senkos. What is surprising, that he won with over 60 pounds and by a 7-pound margin. Smith Lake was a heavy dose of humble pie for Casey.
They weigh 2 pounds, 15 ounces, puts you at 8'11". Not been the event you've been looking for this week.
Yeah, definitely not. This is my second event as a professional on the tour, and it's probably my worst finish ever. I just didn't, I wasn't around them, didn't catch them real good.
Finished 136th, never caught a limit each of the 2 days, had a total weight of 8 pounds, 11 ounces. So it was a far cry from Okeechobee in his top 10 finish.
After Okeechobee, I was kind of on a high, finishing the top 10 there, and there's a good chance that I could finish in the bottom 10 here, so it's kind of humbling.
And the rule of thumb is if you want to make the Forest Wood Cup, you're allowed 1 bomb per season. So Casey's sitting in an okay spot with 1 very good tournament and 1 very bad tournament. However, if he wants to make that year-end championship, he's allowed no more slip-ups.
It's one of those things that, it's tough to take, but, come Beaver, next event in Beaver, I'm gonna get back out there and work hard and try and do well.